Okay, all right. So everybody was preparing PowerPoint presentation, so I decided that okay, let me just prepare one as well. Yeah. So today's class will be dealing on responsiveness, mobile responsiveness, website responsiveness, all of that. Responsive web design using CSS meta queries. So you have built your website, but um, it does not look well, does not look nice in all devices, does not look good. So how do you fix that? How do you fix that? So that is basically what responsive design is going to fix. All right. So first of all, what is CSS meta queries? CSS meta queries is basically a CSS technique used to apply styles when the rule you have set is met. So you apply styles when you set a rule. Once that rule is met, then the style will be applied. For instance, you can write a couple of styles and say, okay, these styles are only going to take effect if the screen or the device viewing my page is wider than 800 pixels or 400 pixels. When the device is not as large as that, then it would not work. Like all those CSS styles will not take effect. It will only take effect when the screen size is of the rule you set. Yes. So meta queries is very, very important. It's a very key part of responsive design. You can target devices, make rules for them so that your website on would look nice on all devices. It will look great on desktops, on laptops, tablets, phones. It doesn't matter. It will look nice. And it's all because of media queries. So let's look at the structure of media query. So I have a very basic structure here. I'm saying uh, at media screen, or we can just say at media, but I think it's best practice to just at screen. So at media screen, and this is where you specify your rule. So what you are saying is anything inside this opening bracket and this closing bracket down here, any rule, because normally without this opening bracket and the closing bracket, this is just your regular way of styling using CSS, an external style sheet. Yes, so you target the property, you give it whatever you want it to take effect on the property, on the element. Yeah. But this time around, you first of all specify a rule first up here. And then inside that rule, you now drop whatever you are targeting. And whenever any device that meets this rule here, then whatever you are specified here will take effect. It's that simple. Very, very simple. This one, presently, we are saying that the width of the device, if we want every device that is 800 pixels and below, because, sorry, and above rather, and above. This is minimum width. So we are saying the minimum width that this whole rule will apply to, the lowest is 800 pixels. So 800 pixels and above, I want this rule to take effect. I didn't mean this was max width. We are saying this rule here would only take effect if the device is 800 pixels and below. So the maximum device width that this would take effect would be 800 pixels and below. So that is how media queries work. So um, I just want to say that we have CSS layout methods that we have learned 18 or two about, like Flexbox and Grid. Sometimes you may not need media queries to perform some certain things. Yeah, to make your site responsive. Sometimes you don't really need media queries if you have a very good grasp of Flexbox and Grid, because depending on what you are doing and depending on your rule that you've set, you can actually target things. And once you set the rule, once it gets to this media screen, it will just break. It will just break off. It will just break off. So that's how that works. We're going to take a little. We're going to talk about that at the end part of today's class, but just have that in mind. But most of the time, you'll be making use of media queries anyway, so it's fine. That's all. That's all. So let's just go straight to the code now. This is just the boring theory section. Let's do code. Okay, so I've gone ahead to create a folder called responsive, and inside this folder we have the boilerplate HTML index.html, and we have the styles.css. So uh I did not create anything. I've also opened the live server here. So let me just do something very simple here. Just give me some time. Um, Probably I should have done this a long time ago, but you guys will just have to bear with me. So I'm creating a container div and I'm creating another div. Let me give it a class of first. And then I'll create another div and give it a class of second. All right. So um, let me just give this guy content. I'll say my name is Vincent and I'm a software developer. Of course, it doesn't make sense for me to just use a div, so I'll wrap it in H2, or let me just make it H1 tag, and then beside it, I will add a picture of myself. And of course, a picture of myself um would be Ramsey Noah. We share similar looks, so it's not a problem. Ramsey Noah is a Nigerian actor. Uh, our resemblance is very striking, so okay. So which one? Yeah, let me use this one. This one is fine. All right, so I'll open this image first so I'm sure it's loading the right thing. Yeah, this is fine. And then I'll save it inside responsive. I'll create a folder for it because I love compartmenting. So I'll call it asset. Okay, no, let me just call it assets, not just assets. Assets. And then inside I would save my ransomware. So I'll name it lookalike.jpg. All right, then I'll save. All right, so we have an image now. So I want the image to be beside this guy. So I'll create an image tag, and then in the source, I would say right here, we have our assets folder. Sorry, we have our assets folder, and inside we have lookalike.jpg. All right, so if you check our site now, we have this guy here. All right, okay, so what next? So I want them to be side by side, like I said previously. So I'm just going to flex the parent container. We have a div, we have another div, and both of them are inside this div here called container. So I'll go to container and I would give it a display of flex. Um, so once I do a display of flex, you see this guy is here and this guy is here. They're now side by side. What I can also do is I can align them vertically. So say align item center, and then this guy will be here. Yeah. Okay, all right. I think we are making good progress. One thing I would like to do though is to bring this guy here. So I'll use a break tag just to do that. Then I would also give the container a bit of padding. Um, sorry. I like doing something before I start. So I'll just say margin zero, padding zero, box sizing would be border box. Yeah. All right. So I want to remove the margins and all. So here in the container, I'm going to give it a padding of just 2 rem, I think. Yeah. And I also want to center this guy. So I'll just say justify content center, align items center, and everything will be in the middle now. Now this guy, I want to give it padding. It's too close to this bros here. So I'll just give it a. So I would come here. This is the first they've called first. So I would say, okay, there are so many ways of doing this. Let me use something I like using, which is gap. So on the main parent container, I can just say gap of 1 rem and to add a gap between them. Of course, I can always increase this to, let's say, 2. But let's just leave it at 1 rem. I think 1 rem is fine. Then I'll change the font, of course, because this font is horrible. So font family, let's go with Franklin Gothic. It's better, but I don't like it. Font family. Oh, you know what? Let's just use an external font. Let's go to fonts.google.com. Let's search for man rope. Let me use this. So let me take away this guy. Remove all. Remove all. I need new font. So I use something bold. So bold, or let's say 800 is bold, like really, really bold. So I'll come to click a link here. I'll copy the link. Then I'll go back to my index.html and I'll paste the link at the head here before my style.css. I'm pasting it so that um I'm pasting it before. I think that helps not to overwrite, so that CSS will not overwrite this guy. I think, but you can go and make your research. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do, I'll just copy this font family here. And then in my style.css, I would say all the font family for every article, every item here. I want you to be this guy. So this is what I copied. I just copied it and pasted it here. So let's see the font now. I think the font looks better, a bit better. I would go to first, which is the first div. Then I'll change the font size, make it like really really large. I don't know, like let's try a trend. That's crazy. That's crazy large. 5 rem, still crazy large. 2 rem. Okay, not so bad. All right, so let's go to the second guy. So second, I want you to have a font size of, sorry, not font size. What am I saying? So this is too like it's too sharp for my liking. Guys, give me a second, please. Okay, can you guys still hear me clearly? Uh, can you hear me clearly? Okay, all right, good. All right, thanks. Okay, so this is too sharp, so I want it to be a little bit rounded. So I'll go to the second, and I would say I'll target the image inside the second. What I'm doing is I am going from second, which is this div, and then the image inside the second. So that's, I like being specific, because had it been there were other images here and I just go image img directly, it's going to affect all the images on the page. So I'm just saying only the image found inside this div. That's what I want to target. So I would say the border radius, I'll make it like, it should be like really really small, maybe like 4 px. Let's see. Yeah, very small. Or let's make it 8, so it's a little bit visible. Yeah. So guys, we have this guy here, and I mean it's not terrible. So don't forget that this class is all about media queries. So let's try something. On this device, which is a desktop, a laptop device, it looks good. You know, there are no issues. There are no issues. So, but on a mobile device, let's go to let's go to a mobile device now. You see, like it no longer looks good. In fact, this is still like a tablet, though it's not really really a mobile device, still like a tablet. You understand? But this is more of a mobile device now. Let me refresh this page. Chrome has this stupid way of doing things. I don't know, like very very annoying. All right. So anyway, the point is this is 440. This is a mobile device. 440, blah blah blah, and it doesn't look good. This left hand side is off of the page. It's just anyhow. So what can we do? So let's reduce this side. Okay, this is 1 3. It looks good. 1 2. It looks good. Oh, it's collapsing. Fine, that's cool. Then it gets to, okay. It gets here. All right. From here, it looks bad. It looks terrible. It looks terrible. So let's just take it a little bit back. So you can see. All right. From 944. From 944. Look at what we can do. 944. So this is the highest. This is the max width. So I can go back to my CSS and I'll create a CSS. We'll say media screen, select it, and then we'll say, and then in brackets we say max width. What's the max width? The max width that we want to target is 944. So we say 944 pixels. Now 944 pixels, what do we want to do? Uh there are a couple of things we can do. We can say, okay, when it gets to 944, we want this guy. Okay, let's try something. We want first, so we're going to target first, which is the first div, and we'll say we want your width to be 40% of the page. Let's see. You see, so this guy now is not like 40% of the page because the picture now is kind of like bigger. Let me comment that out. Then you see the, oh, I think it's almost the same thing. Actually, it's almost the same thing. But don't worry, you would understand why that is happening. So let's go to the second, and let's say the second you are going to have a weight of 30%, for instance. So this is what I was looking for. This overflowing. So the site ordinarily should be overflowing because the content is too big for it. It's too big for it. Okay, all right. So one of the easiest things we can do, let me take this off, is in CSS, you can fall items. So on a desktop, on a tablet, or wherever, it looks good. But on mobile devices, you find out that things that are side by side on desktop, on mobile, they are collapsed. So meaning this either this guy comes first and the image, or the image comes first and this guy, from top to bottom, no longer side by side. So what I can do is from this screen here, I would like to work on this though. I would like to work on this. So let's just work on it without it collapsing because this is still tablet, and I think tablets should still be able to collect a couple of things first before we go to mobile. So the first, oh sorry, I already have first. So the first, I want the width to be 50, let's say 40%. Then the second, I want the width to be um 40% as well. Then this guy shouldn't be overlapping, shouldn't be over. All right, so this is not in the middle of the page. This is not in the middle of the page. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is one of the problems that I was telling you guys about some time ago. That the image, most times, this image does not care about, if you do not target the image and give it a width of 100% of its container, it will not respond to whatever we're doing here. Ordinarily, if you check this page, this is the full page. Now, if I hover over, um, I don't know if you guys can see this clearly, but just manage. If I hover over first, this is the first div, and you see that it's selected here. This is the first div, first. So this is all the space that it should contain, where it is, where that is the area that is selected. That's where it ordinarily should cover. Now, if I hover over the second div, this is where ordinarily should also cover. Can you guys see what I'm showing? Because I can't actually go back to Google Meets. It's yeah, but I think you guys can see what I'm trying to show you. So that is where the div actually ends. That is where the div actually ends. But the image inside the div does not care. It will still come out of the div. This has nothing to do with mobile responsiveness. It's just best practice. It's just best practice. So what I can do here is right inside here, I can still say the weight is going to be 100% of its container, and that would solve that problem. So now the image is not, like, it's now fitting its container. It's no longer going outside of here. So this makes sense. So now we can, let me comment this out first. Let's see the difference. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, that's fine. So on mobile view, this is how it looks. Sorry, on desktop, this is how it looks. Then you reduce. it comes like this. So once it gets to 944, the space is too much because we are saying 40% is here, 40% is here, so meaning there's still 20% here. So what we can do is, if it is too much, we can just, oh, sorry, I think I made a mistake. Justify content should not be center. Justify content should be space between, not center. Please. That's a mistake from my end. All right, so this is space between now. Yeah, so this is fine now. So space between, like you guys know now, it's one is here, one is here. So this guy is here, this guy is here, and it still looks not so bad. Yeah, but 40%, there's still like 20% here, so it's too much. On this screen size is too much, so we can actually make that 45%. 45%. Let's see. All right. Okay. And let me see. This is 944px. Okay. So let's hover over the container first. Okay, that's fine. So what we can also do here is, on this screen size, we can reduce the font size just a little. So we can say the font size is going to be like 1.5 rem on this screen size, and then it will reduce a little. To reduce a little. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So that is just it. Now, once you reduce, at this point, you feel that, oh no, this doesn't look good. You can still target 596. So you can create another media query. I'm just going to copy this guy and create another one down here. So we can say 596. I want the font size to be 1 rem here. So it's 1 rem. This space between is actually messing up our what we're doing. So let me just take it off. It's not really like really necessary. Let's just take it off. Okay, all right. So it looks better, a bit better here. It looks a bit better here on this screen size. Instead of 1.5 rem on this screen size, it looks better. But what you can also do is you can say, okay, on this screen size, which is kind of small, 596, I want to change the orientation. So instead of doing the whole reducing of the font size and making it very small, we can just say, we can just take everything here. Okay, all right. So look at what we're going to do here. We're going to target the container, and then we're going to say the flex direction. Here we flexed it so it's side by side. But here we want to change the flex direction. So we'd say the flex direction is going to be column. So once you do that, then these guys on this screen size, these guys are going to collapse. And then of course we're going to increase the width. So right now it's still 45%. So on this screen size, you can see the width is going to be 90. Let's try 90 for both of them. Yeah, so on this screen size, the width is going to be 90% of the screen. There's still like 10% by the side, but this looks good. It doesn't look so shabby. And on this screen size, you may even decide that, okay, this text, the way it is, I don't like it. I want it to be centralized. So you come to first, and then you say text align center. And then on this screen size, it is centralized. Mind you, if you go away from this, this is what we have. This is what we normally have. But as you reduce your screen size and all, the whole spacing thing here is crazy. I don't like it at all. Maybe it's the gap I gave or the padding. No, it has to be the gap. It's not the padding. So I wrote align items twice for whatever reason. Okay, all right. So so on this screen size, it's fine. It looks good. You reduce. It comes here. It collapses. Okay, it's like this. Why? This is 980. Okay, Vincent cannot cover here. So to make this even better, on this on the main item, you can give them widths. just solve all these problems. So you can say this is 45%, and like on the main sheet, you can give them specific weights, and then you target second, and then give it its own weight of 45%. And that would solve that problem of spacing. So the spacing between them will be like really, really little right from the onset, to be really, really little. So it collapses, and then it falls down. So that's how it's very, very, very easy. But you have to be careful so you do not use too many middle queries. So you have to have your structure in mind when writing your code so that you don't use too many. Because at some point you discover that you've written up to 7, 8 middle queries, which in my opinion is not so good. Yeah. So I think at most you should use like 2 middle queries, or at most three. That's how I feel. It's a personal opinion. So if you have way too many middle queries, then you have to go back and check your structure and see what you can do to fix things. Yeah. So that's basically that. I think the only thing I want to tell you is the only thing left to tell you is that you can actually be very specific. What we did so far is we are saying the max width is this. So anything 944 down, everything here would affect it. The same thing here, max width. If it is mean width, then you are saying anything here and above, whatever is inside will affect it. But you can be very, very specific. You can say, I want from this to this. Like you are really, 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 really specific with your middle query. So how you can do that quickly, let me just do something really simple just to uh, get this point across. So let's say I want this picture to let me go back to how it was, which is this. Now I want it to fall down once it is between 800 and 700. Let's just do it like that, just so that it will be quick. So I'm saying the max width of this is 800. So I would say middle query max width 800 and mean width 700 pixels. And then I would say the container, the direction would be flex direction of column. So if I go to my middle query, so what did we do? We did mean width is 700, max width is let's make it 900. All right. Okay, all right. So this is how it is here. But once we get to what do we use? 900. Yeah. So once we get to 900, it will collapse. It will collapse. Mind you, the mean width is 700. So it will remain the same till we get to 900. Once we get to 900 and pass and leave 900, it goes back to how it was. Of course, this does not make any sense in this case, but yeah, the point is that is something you should know. You can combine two different widths to get, of course, it has to be max width and min width to get your specific window or device that you want to target for your middle query. All right, so that's that about this. I think the final thing I want to say now is that last thing I said about the possibility of using Flex to do your middle query instead of using middle queries in some instances. So let me see. Can I use this? Can I use this? Blah 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 blah. Okay, let me just try. Let me try. Let me use let me use this guy. All right, so we have a container. This whole stuff is a container. I think I should give my container a background color, something like really, really light. So like white smoke or something. Yeah. So this is my container, everything here. Now my container has a width of, let's just say five, let's just say 900 pixels. 900 pixels. Um, okay, all right. Let me just do margin 0 to so that to come to the middle. Okay, all right. So or let's say 20 px. So I'm giving top and bottom 20 px and then left and right auto. Auto would always centralized the item. So that's just what I did there. All right, so I want this guy to fall down once the screen size it's no longer the screen size is no longer, there's no more space. There's no more space. So I want this guy to fall down. So what do? I need to make use of specific width though for this to work. So here I'm going to say this is going to be 400. Um okay. Let's add one more. Let's add one more div. Let's add one more div. Let's do this three times. Okay, no, let me just make this guy twice. Let me do this guy twice. So we have second two times. Let's see what we have. So we have these guys. All right. Let's see. I did not practice this, but I don't think it should be a problem. I don't think it should be a problem. If it's a problem, then sorry. Sorry. So let me change this guy to third. This is going to be really quick, I hope. So this container has a weight of 900, while this container has a weight of no, I did 400 here. No, should have been, let's say, 200 pixels. Uh, let's say 200 pixels, and let's create a touch, and then let's say a width of 200 pixels. Let me see how it will look like. Okay, all right. So I'm going to I'm going to target the image here and do the same thing so that it doesn't leave its container. All right. So this is flexed. Um, this is let me see 900 pixels, 0 to 2 rem. Okay, okay. 200, 200, 200. I think that's fine. Although this image is too big, so let's just make it like really, really small. Yeah, okay, that's not so bad. Okay, all right. A little bit of spacing would not be bad here. So I would need to use the justify content now, space between. So there's space between them. All right, okay, all right. So let's try something. Let's see what happens once the screen is lower. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's now overflowing because this is 600 and the whole width is 900. So there's an overflow happening here. Let's try something. Let's add a flex wrap of wrap. Still did not work. It still did not work. Okay, so I think I'm going to make a new video concerning how to do this. So basically, what I wanted to show you is that it's possible for you to make your items wrap uh, according to the screen size. So once you are reducing your screen size, then they will just on its own without using media queries or whatever, they will just fall below or behind as long as there's not enough space in the container, then the items inside will just start to fall in. Yeah. But that's not I don't want us to waste too much time on this trying to try and error. So I'll create a video, I'll drop it, and you guys can go and watch it. It will be very, very short, maybe like, I don't know, like 5 minutes or so. I don't like very long videos. So yeah, as it relates to media queries, hopefully that was clear. If it wasn't clear, then this is the time for us to speak. Let me bring back my media queries. Uh, any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Let me take this off. Any questions? Okay. Let me check the. Let me stop recording first because I want it to be very, very